All right, let's jump into this deep dive. We're tackling 10 things that every, aspiring teacher should know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is brought to you by Tanya Kirby.
Oh, wonderful.
She's a special education teacher,
Okay.
an author who's really all about supporting new educators.
Yes, and that support is so important, right? Because we want to set these new teachers up for success.
Absolutely, yeah. It's such a rewarding but, challenging field.
Absolutely, yeah. It can be really demanding, so it's all about having the right tools and knowledge,
Exactly.
coming in prepared.
Yeah.
So let's dive into these 10 topics and really, give everyone listening the insights they need to really thrive
Yeah.
as educators.
So this document, jumps right into individual learning styles.
Yeah,
Which we all kind of know is important, but, how do you actually do that
right.
with a classroom of different learners?
Absolutely. And it's something that we as educators need to be really mindful of,
Yeah.
Every student's an individual, right? They learn in their own way.
Right.
And we have to move away from that one-size-fits-all approach, Some students are visual learners.
Yeah, for sure.
They thrive with images, diagrams, all that.
Right. Like they need to see it to get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Others are more kinesthetic.
Uh-huh.
They need to move, they need to engage physically
Right.
with the material.
Yeah. They need to do it to learn it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we have those auditory learners,
Mhm.
They learn best through listening, through discussion.
Right.
But it's not always obvious, right, which category a student falls into.
Yeah, that's true.
So observe, experiment,
Yeah.
and ask them, talk to your students.
Right.
You'd be surprised how much insight they can give you into their own learning
Absolutely.
preferences.
Yeah. They know themselves best sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of challenges, this document really dives into classroom management. Right.
And it even calls it a make or break skill,
Absolutely.
which is a little intimidating.
I wouldn't say intimidating, but it's definitely essential.
Okay. Yeah.
Think of it this way. You're creating an environment
Mhm.
where learning can flourish.
Okay.
It's not about being authoritarian, but setting clear expectations from day one.
Right.
Routines, procedures.
So what would be some examples of that?
Well, imagine a teacher, right?
Yeah.
They start each day with a really clear morning routine,
Okay.
a designated spot for homework,
Right. Yeah.
consistent hand signals for common requests.
Right.
Just these little things create
Right.
predictability. They minimize the disruptions.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like being organized and having
Exactly.
clear communication.
Clear communication, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that kind of leads into our next topic, right?
Okay.
Which is technology
Yes, technology
Yeah.
in the classroom.
in the classroom. Yeah.
Which this document really highlights.
Right, because we are in the digital age now.
We are.
Almost all kids have some access.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important to embrace that.
Right.
To embrace the right tools to make learning more interactive and engaging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not just about having technology for technology's sake.
Exactly. It has to be strategic.
Yeah.
So instead of, let's say, just replacing a worksheet with an online version,
Right.
think about platforms like Khan Academy,
Oh,
which offers those personalized learning pathways for each student.
right.
Or what about a virtual field trip?
Oh, yeah.
Using Google Earth, you can take your class to the Amazon rainforest.
That's so cool.
You don't even have to leave the classroom.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So many possibilities.
Yeah, it's about making learning more meaningful, not just more high tech.
Exactly.
Right.
It's about using the technology to enhance what you're already doing.
Right. Yeah. And, building on communication, this document really talks about the importance of parent-teacher relationships,
Oh, absolutely.
which, seems like it extends learning beyond just the classroom.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
Strong parent-teacher relationships are so crucial.
Right.
Parents are our partners in this
Mhm.
journey,
Yeah.
and regular communication is key.
Right.
So think about it. Scheduled conferences, of course,
Right.
but also quick updates through email, maybe a class website,
Yeah.
even a brief note home celebrating a student's success.
Right.
All of these things build trust.
Yeah.
They foster collaboration.
Your team.
Yeah.
You're all on the same team.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
ultimately, that benefits the student the most.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, something that, really stood out to me in this document was the focus on self-care.
Yes,
Teaching is such a rewarding job.
it is.
but it can also be incredibly demanding.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
how do you avoid burning out,
That's a great question. And, burnout is a real issue in our profession.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And it's something we need to talk about more.
Right.
It's vital that we prioritize our own well-being.
Yeah.
Time management's crucial.
Yeah.
Learn to prioritize your tasks, delegate when possible.
Right.
Set realistic deadlines for yourself.
That's hard.
It can be, but it's not just about work-life balance,
Right.
It's also about carving out time for yourself to
Wow.
do things that recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
Even 30 minutes of exercise, reading a book, spending time with loved ones, it can make a huge difference in your overall well-being.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
You
have to take care of yourself so you can take care of
from a student.
Exactly. So,
Well, and let's talk about the heart of teaching.
yes.
Building those strong relationships with students.
Yes, this is so important.
Yeah. It goes beyond just delivering the curriculum.
Right.
When students feel seen, heard, valued,
Yeah.
they're more likely to thrive
Right.
academically, personally.
Yeah.
It's about creating that safe and supportive classroom culture
Okay.
where they feel comfortable taking risks, asking questions,
Right.
expressing themselves.
Yeah.
It's also about those little things,
Yeah.
greeting them at the door, learning about their interests,
Yeah.
celebrating their achievements.
Yeah.
These small gestures
Yeah.
can create a really powerful sense of connection.
Absolutely. It's like that saying, students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so you can have the best relationships and lesson plans, but we know that things don't always go according to plan in the classroom.
Oh, absolutely not.
Right. This document talks about adapting to challenges. So what are some strategies for those moments?
Oh, every teacher I know has a story
Oh, I bet.
about a lesson that went completely off the rails.
Right.
The fire drill in the middle of your presentation.
Oh, yeah.
A surprise assembly, or the projector that just decides to take the day off.
Oh, yeah. Technology fails us.
It happens.
Yeah.
But, in those moments, flexibility,
Yeah.
a sense of humor,
Okay.
those are your best friends.
Yeah.
Have a backup plan.
Right.
Be ready to adapt. And remember that sometimes the best learning happens
Yeah.
outside of the lesson plan.
Right. Yeah. It's about being resourceful, I guess.
Exactly.
And embracing those moments.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that leads into differentiation and inclusion, which this document highlights.
Yes.
Because every classroom has diverse learners,
It does.
and you need to meet their needs.
We do, and we know that learners exist on a spectrum, right?
Oh, right.
Each with their own unique strengths and areas for growth.
Yeah.
And differentiation, it's not just about helping those who are behind. It's about making sure all students are appropriately challenged and engaged.
Okay.
So think about offering different learning pathways, providing a variety of materials,
Yeah.
using flexible grouping strategies for students with IEPs.
Right.
Collaborate with the special ed staff, make sure their needs are being met.
Yeah.
It's about creating an environment where every student feels supported and empowered to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And celebrate those differences, right?
Exactly. Honor and celebrate those differences.
Yeah. Well, and then we get into time management and lesson planning, which always feels like the unsung heroes of teaching.
Absolutely. We are masters of multitasking.
I bet.
We're juggling grading, paperwork, meetings, professional development,
Right.
all while planning those engaging lessons
And still taking care of the kids.
and nurturing those relationships
Yeah.
with our students, which we talked about. So,
Right. So how do you do it all?
well, the key is organization and efficiency.
Okay.
Create a system
Right.
for batching similar tasks together,
Okay.
develop reusable templates
Right.
for lesson plans, for assessments,
Yeah.
set realistic deadlines for yourself, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Right. Yeah.
Collaborate with your colleagues.
Yeah.
It can be a lifesaver.
It's like a team effort.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So then lastly, we have this topic that can be a little daunting,
Yeah.
which is the school politics
Yes.
and professionalism.
Right. Every school has its own unique culture, its
Yeah.
own set of dynamics.
Yeah, every school's different.
They are. And navigating these successfully.
Yeah.
It involves building those positive relationships
Right.
with colleagues, with administrators,
Right.
understanding the school's policies, the
Right.
procedures,
Yeah.
maintaining a professional demeanor.
Right.
Remember, collaboration is key here.
Yeah.
Be willing to help. Offer support to your colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
Approach challenges with a solution-oriented mindset.
Right.
This creates a positive
Yeah.
and productive work environment for everyone.
Right. Absolutely. It's like you're building a community.
Exactly.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
supportive community within the school.
Right.
So,
Well, this has been such a great deep dive.
no, it's been my pleasure.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights
Of course.
and expertise. And of course, a huge thank you to Tanya Kirby
Yes. Thank you, Tanya.
for bringing us these topics.
Absolutely.
And for our listeners, if you want to keep learning and growing
yes.
as educators, Notebook LM is an amazing resource.
It is. It's a treasure trove
Yeah.
of information.
It is so much good stuff in there.
So much.
So best of luck on your teaching journey.